What's going on? It's Josh here from Kenwood. And in today's workshop, we're actually going to do a deep dive on what high-res audio is and why it's important when you're designing your system. Let's get into it. So high-res audio is something that you may have seen with a little logo that's found on a box whenever you're looking at your car audio selections. But what does that logo actually mean, right? Because that's the side of the story that we don't often hear. High-res audio, when you see that labeled on a receiver, amplifier, or speaker, whatever the case is, that means that that product has actually been sent off to a third-party group, which is actually called the Japan Audio Society. Now, in order for them to gain that badge of approval, if you will, by being able to utilize that high-res audio logo, that means that those products had to be put through the ringer and tested to make sure that they could exceed certain points. For example, being able to play up to 40,000 hertz, but do so while also maintaining a minimum bit depth of 24. So what does that all mean whenever we're looking at what we need for our products? That means that these products were built with the proper components, being internal components or components in speakers, to be able to reproduce those higher frequencies, but do so at great bit depths of recording. And that translates to mean that when we're looking for that audio reproduction, whether it's customers that want receivers that can reproduce FLAC files and then be able to maintain that and send that out to our amplifiers and speakers. This benefits us when we're looking for a truly exceptional listening experience by using these components that have met this certification. So let's talk about how this all plays out into our system design. So when I first started installing, I was taught that your signal starts at the source. And what that means is the source that's going to be sending that frequency out to other products like amplifiers and speakers is the deciding factor on where that quality begins. Now, in this case here at Kenwood, we have a variety of other receivers that also meet that high-res audio certification, whether it's something like a DMX 908S or even the top products that we make like the DMX 1057XR. Now, in these cases, again, it's important to know that with that receiver meeting these standards, it also means that we have the ability to reproduce like 96K 24-bit resolution, which is a requirement for most of your high-res audio FLAC files. Now, once we've put all of those pieces together, we've decided on what our source is. The next step is to look at the rest of the products in our installation and then decide based off of these features, which ones make the most sense. So let's talk a little bit about that now. So here at Kenwood, we also have a full series of amplifiers that maintains that high-res audio certification as well. And the reason that that's important is because when we're running that signal from our source, which we just got done talking about, to our amplifiers, if these amplifiers are not built with those same specs and standards, then we run the risk of losing a true high-res audio listening experience. Now, the other advantage to this too is if we're also going to be outputting that signal from one amp to another, for example, we want to make sure that we're not losing any of that information or bit rate or frequency reproduction along the way. So it's great to know that here at Kenwood, we have amplifiers that are guaranteed to do exactly that. So continuing on in the spirit of system design, we've got our receiver idea figured out. We've got our amplifiers figured out as far as what we're looking for with those specs. The next part of that is the speakers in the doors, because again, speakers are what we hear when we're hearing those higher frequencies. So in this case, we would look at something like our XR 1801Ps. These speakers are truly the best of what Kenwood has to offer when it comes to your mid-range and your higher frequency drivers in this case. And I'm happy to say that these also met those strenuous specifications to get that high-res audio certification. So in this case, we've got speakers that can take up to 120 watts RMS, and they're also guaranteed to deliver a great sound because they meet that high-res audio certification. And you'll see that logo on these speakers, those amplifiers, and the receivers that we mentioned along the way. Now, when we do that and we check all of those boxes, we know without the shadow of a doubt that this installation is truly a high-res audio certified listening experience. So at this point, you may be wondering, why haven't we talked about subwoofers when we're talking about this high-res audio logo? Now, if you look back to the beginning part of this, we talked about one of those specifications in order to maintain or achieve this is to be able to reproduce frequencies up to 40,000 hertz. And for those of you that may not know, that's actually beyond the scope of the higher frequencies that humans can typically hear. So when we talk about subwoofers, we're all about that bass, right? We're talking about those lower frequencies to be able to do this. That doesn't mean that Kenwood is any slouch when it comes to the subwoofer category, though. When you look at a lot of our subwoofers throughout various lines found within the Kenwood family, you'll find a lot of great solutions that are guaranteed to bring that proper low frequency in order to achieve that high-res audio listening experience. So my goal behind doing this whole high-res audio spiel behind this segment was to hopefully educate everybody on why here at Kenwood we're so proud to have that little gold logo on so many of our boxes, whether it's our receivers, our amplifiers, or our full range speakers. To us, that logo tells the story of our products having the quality to deliver a smile to your customer's face whenever they get into their vehicle and listen to their true high-res audio system for the very first time. For more information, head over to our website at kenwood.com to learn anything and everything you would like to know about all of our products.